Hey guys, Chris from the Ultimate Recycler. Welcome back to the channel. Today's video we're going to do an unboxing and probably a review on this AEG air compressor. I just bought it new before Christmas, probably nearly a month ago, maybe a bit longer. We've had a busy time lately. I haven't opened it. Well, I've only opened the top to get the booklets out because I had to register the serial number online to get extended warranty, so I thought I'd do that. Let's unbox it, let's see what we get, let's check it out and see if it's a good unit, and hopefully it'll suit my purposes. Okay, AEG were, and I think they're still considered a very good brand with the tradies. I've always known them as to be pretty good. They were a German brand, and I think they have their origins back in the 1800s. And then over time they've got taken over by other companies and all that sort of stuff. And I think these models are now actually made in China, but these days made in China isn't as bad as what it was 20 years ago. There's some quite good equipment coming out now, and you would like to think that a company with a good name will make sure they keep their good name and only have good stuff made. I believe the company that actually owns AEG now is Tektronix. They're a Hong Kong based company. And they're marketed in other places. I think in the States they're marketed as Rigid, and they also, Tektronix I believe, also own the brand names of Milwaukee and even Ryobi. So they're putting out a lot of equipment, and this one hopefully will be good for what I need. I have read some fairly good reviews. Just hang on a tick, Coco is wandering off with a piece of polystyrene. That won't be good for her. Come back here. Thank you. Stop. Now, believe it or not, our dog is an extortionist. You have to buy things back off her. There we go. Thank you. Nice transaction. Okay, back to the job at hand. What was I saying? Hopefully it's a good quality unit. I read some good reviews. That's right, we were talking about reviews. And it's a silenced air compressor, which apparently is really good for in workshop use. I was going to put a little lean-to shed on the side of my shed because I would need a compressor that's big enough to do spray painting, and this is the other little compressor that I've got by with, and it's no good for spray painting, and it's no good to run this bead blaster or media blaster cleaner that I've bought and still haven't used. So hopefully this big thing will do the job nicely, and being quiet, I won't have to put it in a little shed outside my shed. Hopefully it can just sit under the bench and it won't be too noisy. So let's unpack it all and see what we have to do, and we'll give it a test. Okay, well, being the ultimate recycler, the cardboard is all going to be shredded and fed to my worms, or else at least put in the recycling bin. This white polystyrene, or expanded polystyrene it's called, I've got a plan for this in the future. I want to try and make a cuber so I can use it for packing materials, and that will be another video down the track. I'm going to try and make a cuber out of a toaster. Now, the soft plastic here will go to red cycle, so that will be recycled. So what have we got here? Looks like there's wheels to fit and a handle. So a little bit of assembly required. Let's get it out of that frame and we'll put the wheels on first. So these weren't wheels in here. These are stoppers, I presume, go under one end. They're probably the axles for the wheels. They would hold the handle on, which I've just assembled. And these, I think, are the air filters for the air going into the compressors. So I've just put the handle in the frame here. Might make it easier to lift out, and it looks like these just locate. I probably should look at the instructions. I'm not sure where the book is now. I took it out when I had to get the serial number. But, you know, us guys never read instructions until we get stuck, and then we read them when no one's looking. Now that we've got it out of the base piece, I can see the wheels. They're good, solid, large wheels, and they're very heavy. They must be solid rubber. They're not pneumatic, so that will be excellent. They'll roll well in the shed. So 2 large wheels that end, and the 2 heavy rubber stoppers that end, I guess. Okay, as this is a review, I may as well point out the good and bad things about it as I go along. It's certainly a nice looking unit with its twin direct coupled motors. The compressors are oilless, so there's no maintenance as far as changing the oil. I like the look of it, and it's very heavy. I do like that the wheels are absolutely solid rubber, so they're nice and strong. Disappointed though in the quality here. They have good sized bearings, but the axle that goes through is hardly a neat fit. It just slops through. And what that means is that when the bolt does up on the other side against this very large washer, rests against the shoulder, that will be tight, but it'll wobble round. It doesn't actually clamp up on the bearings, which means that it's actually going to spin inside that bearing, and after the bearing gets a little bit tight, it may as well be a bush. So I think that's a bit poor, but anyway, it won't really affect things. It's not likely to break, and most of the time this compressor will be parked. It's not like I'm going to be moving it around a workshop all the time. But yeah, I think quality control could have been a little bit better there. Another thing I've just noticed, this bracket is actually bent. Have a look at that. Whereas the one on the other side is perfectly straight. Because I was just about to bolt the wheel up here and it actually sits on an angle. So slight adjustment required there with one of these. I'll give it a decent thump in a minute, it should straighten up. But that must have happened in factory because the packaging wasn't damaged. So yeah, anyway, we can fix that. That's very poor, but anyway, it'll do. And the stoppers under the other end. So assembly is very easy. There's no issues with that. And there's no faults with this part. One thing I do like, another thing I do like, other than the solid wheels, is the drain switch, drain tap underneath. So the drain tap just has a 90-degree turn tap. Bit stiff, so that makes it really easy to drain any moisture out of the tank. Might run a small hose out of there, or just put a little cup or something underneath, and that way I don't have to find a spanner. I can just flick the tap once a week or something, and it's important maintenance to do on a compressor to make sure moisture doesn't build up in the tank from condensation, so that's a good idea. So that's really all the assembly required. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy. We've just really got to put the little air filters in. They're just a pleated paper filter from what I can see. So there's 4 of those, and it's probably a good idea that they weren't shipped with those in because they're very, very prone to breakage. I would imagine they'd have to be checked and cleaned every so often. You can see there's just a pleated paper type filter in there. It looks like the cap comes off, so we might have a quick look at one before we put them all in, although we can screw them in and just take a cap off and see what they look like. So I did see on another video about these things that you can actually make them even quieter again by having a small tube. I would guess it would be 5/16 or 1/4 inch tube or something, just to stop that sucking sound when your compressor is sucking air in. It just reduces the noise level even more. I don't think I'm going to bother, but we'll see how it sounds in a shed when I get it assembled. I don't think these should be really much tighter than hand tight. I don't think we'll do them any tighter than that. So I did turn these in just a little bit tighter, just so the inlet was down below, because if the inlet was at top it'd be more likely to have foreign debris fall in there. And the caps just come off on a bayonet type fitting, and there's a little pleated paper element there. So that should be pretty easy to maintain and keep clean. And we've got one of those for each cylinder. So there we go, all assembled. Next thing's to plug it in and see what it sounds like. Time for a test now. Let's just see what we've got left over. And this tag was hanging off it that tells me that it's quieter than the train. I guess that depends how close you are to the train. Quieter than a vacuum cleaner, and just above normal conversation. So that's pretty cool. We'll see how it works out. I keep the little tie off the cord because I use them at the shop. Got some bubble wrap because I'm an eBayer. I always use bubble wrap. A little bit of tape I've peeled off things will probably go in the bin. I don't think you can put that in with the soft plastics. Polystyrene I've mentioned I'm going to try and use one day in a future video. The soft plastic will go to Red Cycle in Australia. They process and recycle all soft plastics. The cardboard will either go in my recycle bin or to my worms, depends how much time I have on my hands. This was across the top, a piece of plywood. I'll actually use that when I'm framing up some stuff in the shed. That'll be a handy backing board. So not much waste. We have a lovely looking compressor. Let's see what it sounds like. Plug it into our outside power point here on deck at home, if in case you haven't noticed. We're not at the shop, it's not as messy. Turn her on and let's have a listen. Oh, we've got to pull the switch up, I guess. This one. On. Well, that's pretty good. Now, I can easily talk. It probably sounds quite loud on the phone, but I'm just talking normal conversation and I can hear myself talk easily. There's no one else to talk to at the moment. Christine's off doing something else. Oh, Christine can hear me. Oh, okay. That's pretty good. It's actually more of a buzz than your normal chug, chug, chug of a compressor, especially on the belt drive models. I think that'll be perfectly fine in my big shed. It probably echoes a little bit off the walls here. Yeah, that sounds nice. Let's see how the pressure's going. Okay, it's building up. So there's an adjuster there and a locking lock for it. A locking collar, there's 2 outlets. I will probably have a bit of hose fixed in my shed permanently with an outlet. Well, one side might actually go directly to the sandblaster, bead blaster, with maybe a tap. I'll have to work all that out, and I won't finish this review until I've been using it for a little bit in the shed. Other than a few little things that were a little bit rough, I thought the wheel bearings, as I mentioned, were very poor. The rest of it looks great. The finish here though does look a bit dodgy. I'll turn it off for a tick. The finish here looks a little bit dodgy. I'm not sure if the tank wasn't cleaned properly before it was painted. I don't think it's rust, but it looks a bit bubbly there. But that's only a minor thing. We built up to, where are we, just over 100 psi in very quick time, and it's holding pressure well. I'm not sure what stage it cuts out. We might just keep it running until it cuts out. See, that wheel is still a little bit bent. But as I said, I'm not going to move it around the workshop. It'll be just fixed at one spot. Yeah, that's not too bad. Okay, it certainly looks very space age. And we're up to about 130, 140 psi. I'm not sure what pressure it cuts out at. Should be soon, I would imagine. There we go. Just under 150. So that's pretty good. I like the sound of that. It sounds nice. So okay, I'll tack a bit more into this video once I get it set up in the shed and we've used it for a bit. Hopefully it keeps up with the demands of the sandblaster. And I'm not set up for spray painting yet, but I will be in the future. So this compressor should be with me for life, hopefully. Alrighty, it's been exactly 1 week since we last spoke, and I've just finally got the compressor off the deck, and most of you will understand that there's limited room in sheds, and I need to get it round. I've made a little track right over into that corner there, next to the sandblaster. I think it'll fit nicely under there. It should fit under the bench, so we'll maneuver it round through here. Does roll very well, even though the wheels are a little wonky on the axles. It does roll very nicely. Those solid rubber wheels, whoops, solid rubber wheels are great. It would help if I could steer better. Anyway, I think she'll fit under here nicely, just. Yep, just. And I'll leave, I won't put it right under yet, but this way I'll have access to the gauges this end easily. I'll have to run a power lead to here. I'll have to, I don't think I've got any air hose connectors at the moment. I'll have to pick up one of those, and pretty soon we'll be able to test our little sandblaster cabinet, and I have some items to clean up for another video in that, so we'll be giving the air compressor a workout very soon. Oh, incidentally, I told you it's been a week, and the pressure gauge has just pulled back to 125. It was at about 145, and that's in a whole week, so it holds its pressure well, no issues there. So I've got some hoses and some fittings now. The compressor's ready to give a test, and I've got my sandblasting cabinet just about right to go, and I'm just going to try it on some rusty bike parts. There's a handlebar in there, it's quite rusty, so we'll give that a go. I am going to run an air line along this main bench as well, and I might even continue it right over, if you pardon my mess, right over to the front door there, so that I have an air outlet if I need to, say, blow the tyre up on the wheelbarrow or something and I can't get it in here, which I actually can't. So it's looking the good so far. Be interesting to see how the sandblaster cabinet works off this. I believe those sandblasters are fairly air thirsty, so we'll see how long she takes to cut in and out, or how it cycles. I've set the regulator, I'm not sure if you can see that, I've set that to 100 psi, which is the maximum they say you should run through these sandblasters. The tank is fully charged up now. It's about 140 odd, and it's just sitting there quietly ready to work. So we'll get some action on the cabinet, and we'll just see how the air compressor handles something that needs a lot of air pressure. Oh, there's the silent compressor. That's pretty good. It's not too loud, is it?
That's actually pretty impressive how it gets rid of all that stuff.
Yeah. So how good's that? It's taken the chrome off too, but the chrome's not a very good finish, and I want to paint it anyway, so that's good, isn't it? So it'll take no time to clean these up. Beautiful. So I've just been sandblasting some bike parts for a project, and the compressor has kept up pretty well. I mean, it runs quite a bit because, you know, it's got to keep up with basically constant airflow. But the beauty of it being so quiet is that it's right next to me, and it doesn't make you jump when it kicks in. It just hums away, almost like it's supposed to, you know, as part of the sandblasting cabinet. So yes, it struggles to keep up because these cabinets are very air thirsty, but it does a great job, as in it's quiet, it's smooth, and the moment I stop spraying, it almost catches up and switches off straight away. Hello, Coco. Oh, you've brought Wilson. Here you go. Take Wilson outside. So there you go. I think that pretty well ends my review. Quite happy with this compressor. It really does well, I think, and I'm sure it'll handle spray painting beautifully, and it'll do every job I need in this workshop, and hopefully it lasts me a long, long time. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed that. I think my air compressor and I will enjoy a long and happy relationship. I'm pretty happy with it. Let me know if you'd like me to do more reviews. I should have probably done one on the sandblasting cabinet. It's the first time I've used that tonight as well, and it looks like it's going to be great for restorations and all sorts of other jobs that I have for it. So if you'd like me to do a few reviews every time I pick up some new equipment, I'm probably happy to do that. I don't get any kickbacks from companies for doing reviews. Look, if they offer, I'll consider, but one thing I won't compromise is my opinion, and if I like something, I'll say so, and if I don't like it, I'll say so. So some companies might not like me doing that, but you will get an honest review. I'm very, very happy with this at this stage. I don't expect to have any problems, and I did read a few reviews when I was looking at buying this, and I don't remember if I mentioned it at the start of this video because it was so long ago, but I had a few people say they had some problems out of the box, and the good thing was that in Australia they're marketed through Bunnings, well, that's where I bought mine, and Bunnings do have a good record as far as looking after their customers, so they covered the costs and I think supplied a new machine or something. So hopefully I don't have any troubles. Hopefully it's in my workshop for a long time. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.